student, myself Pinky Singh, Assistant Professor of IMS Law College, and today I'll tell you about the Hindu joint family under the Mitakshra and the Deyabhaga school. So basically this joint family is a fundamental aspect of Hindu law in which the concept of joint family is where their common ancestor and his male lineage descendants, along with the other members such as wives, daughters, unmarried persons, who stay together under one roof sharing everything in common. So basically in both the schools, Mitakshara and Deyabhaga, this concept of joint family property is the area which makes each of them different from one another. So I'll tell you in today's video about all these things. And for every Hindu, there will be no escape from the joint family. So maybe in one generation or the other, Hindu will become into existence of joint family automatically. Therefore, it is mentioned under the Hindu laws that there is a presumption that each family will be considered as a joint family. So, today we would be focusing more on the concept of Hindu joint family involved and the major roles played by the Karta co-partnery in handling with the joint family property, apart from all the major differences between the Mitakshara and the Deyabhaga school. So, we begin with the introduction, and before begin with the study, firstly we will understand the language. What is the joint family property? So basically, first one, according to the Oxford Dictionary, joint family means it were an extended family consisting of two or more generation and their spouses living together as a single household. So similarly, the Hindu joint family is the composition of a common ancestor along with his lineal male descendant and their wives and daughters. So for the existence of joint family, there must be a common ancestor, but it doesn't mean that for the continuance of this joint family, the common ancestor must require. By this, it means that whenever a common ancestor dies, there is always an addition to the lower link of the family. So once an upper link is removed, it doesn't mean that a joint family will end. This concept is followed under both the Mitakshara and the Deyabhaga, but it is an area, it makes the differences between each of them. So in most of part of the India, the Mitakshara concept of joint family is followed, but in West Bengal, Assam and other part, the Deyabhaga concept of joint family is followed by the people. And there is a particular case in Rajgopal versus Padmin. Whenever if two or more families, if they agree to live together by sharing their food, work, resources, gains and etc. into a common stock, then it was observed that it considered as a joint family. Okay. In Mitakshara joint family property, son has a right over the property since the birth. Even an illegitimate son or a widowed daughter has a right over the property of their father's joint family property. Whereas under the Deyabhaga joint family property, son have no right over the properties by birth. Apart from this, there are another feature is the right to maintenance and right of survivorship, which will be given to the unmarried daughters and other members respectively in the joint family. So under the Mitakshara, only the joint family property will be acquired by the co-partnery by the concept of succession and survivorship. So even the concept of survivorship is not given to son, and therefore there is no joint family between the son and the father. Under the Deyabhaga, it includes all the properties, both self-acquired and the joint family property will be devolved by succession. Now the next is the co-partnery under Mitakshara school of joint family. So under this co-partnery idea, Hindu laws was mainly by the male member of the family, and where just children, grandsons and great grandsons who have a right by birth, who has an interest in the co-partnery property. So under this, no female of a Mitakshara co-partnery could be a co-partner, but she will always be a part of the joint family. So under Mitakshara, a son, son's son, son's son's son can a co-partner. Means father and his three lineal male descendants can be a co-partner. So, okay, I am taking an example here. Suppose in a joint family, a co-partner will be consisting of four members, including father and his three male lineal descendants. So they will be form a co-partner with the limit of 4 degrees. Okay, and I'm giving you again an example. Like suppose in a family, if it consists of 8 male lineal descendant, then they will not be forming a co-partner, because we have to understood from the this example which I am giving you here in my slide, that co-partner consisted of only the 4 degree, and where in a joint family which consists of the 8 male lineal descendant, then they will not they will not form a co-partner in the joint family. Okay, so if they have to be a co-partner in the family, then only 4 degree members should be taken into consideration. Okay, so all these concepts were followed by the Hindu succession at 1956, but there was recent amendment made to this Hindu Succession Amendment Act in the year 2005, in which even a daughter is entitled to a co-partner under the joint family. So, from all these examples, it's clear that a co-partner can't be consist of a female under the Mitakshara, either by entering into the agreement between the members, neither of the joint family nor with the co-partners. So, it is a creation of law that only 4 degree lineal main descendants can be co-partner. And here we have noted under the Mitakshara school that the co-partners, they acquires the birthright over the properties of the joint family property. Okay, but the main issue is that the interest acquires them will be fluctuating and it's unpredictable. It means that until the partition is done in the joint family property, share will not be fixed or specified, and the person who has it right under the joint family property, its interest will be fluctuating and unpredictable, because there can be birth and death happens in the family, by which the share of each individual will be affected. Okay, so now we will move on the next thing, which is the co-partners right. So the co-partners have the following right, like right to maintenance, right to challenge the alienation, right to partition. So what it means? So right to maintenance means every person in the joint family property is entitled to get maintenance, mainly the female members. Here, if I'm saying female members, then the person who mainly the female members, the person who does not receive any share from the family because of the disqualification grounds or the unmarried daughters, then all of them will be getting maintenance from the joint family. Next is the right to challenge alienation. This term alienation means transfer of property in case of any legal necessity or benefit of the estate. So the co-partner, the karta and the sole surviving co-partners, they have the right to alienate the property for the debts of the family or for any kind of legal necessity of the joint family. Okay, so if we keep in the mind the above mentioned person who has a right to alienate the property with any kind of improper intention or without any clear intention, then the co-partners, they can challenge the alienation. Last is the right to partition. So the co-partners, they have the right to partition in the joint family property. So until the partition is done, the shares of each individual will be fluctuating and unpredictable. So next, we will move on the next thing, that is the co-partner within co-partner. So in Mitakshara school, there is a concept of co-partner within co-partner, means a separate co-partner can be existed within a co-partner. So here I am taking an example. Suppose a co-partner consists of P and three sons, Q, R and S. Again, Q having two sons, QS1 and QS2. Again, R having three sons, RS1, RS2 and RS3. So suppose P and three sons, Q, R, S, they acquire the separate property. Then when Q dies, his separate property can be acquired by his sons QS1 and QS2 and they can form a separate co-partnery themselves. So this concept is called co-partnery within co-partnery. So next is the classification of property under the Mitakshara school. So there are two types of property. First one is the apratibandhaya, which is also called the unobstructed heritage. Second one is the sapratibandhaya or the obstructed heritage. So unobstructed heritage, it is the property which inherit from direct male ancestor but not exceeding 3 degree who is higher than him. Okay. Now, under this sapratibandhaya or obstructed heritage, so under this, under this concept, heritage is devolved by survivorship, and sapratibandhaya, obstructed heritage property inherited from any other relations, paternal uncle or brother, nephew. Under this, it is devolved by the inheritance. So these are the classification of property under the Mitakshara school. So now we will move on the next concept, that is under the Hindu law. The property is further divided into again two segments, that is the joint family property and the separate property. So important aspect of Hindu joint family mainly under this properties are those properties which are inherited from the ancestral property by any ancestor or ancestors. And second is the separate property. It is this property which is acquired by the individuals will be involved. Okay. Now next thing is karta. So karta is a person who acquires a main position in the joint family property. He is denoted a manager, occupier of the family, and the position of karta is known as the sui generic. It means he hold a unique position in the joint family property. So there can be more than one karta in the joint family property, and this karta can be the most senior most male member of the family, and his main duty is to represent his family members or act behalf of them. So he is a person to whom all the family members are dependent upon, just they hold a fiduciary relation between them, and that they always want a person to manage and look after the well-being of the family without any issues. So the karta will look after females, minors in the joint family, and also give them the maintenance. And if the karta fails to give the maintenance, then he can be sued, or the maintenance as well as the areas of the maintenance. So he is responsible to give maintenance to unmarried daughters in the joint family along with the debts if the family is having at any point of time. So here we can say thus all this will be the liability of a karta to maintain the joint family member as well the business carried on. So there the following persons can be the karta in the joint family, like senior most male member, junior male member, and the female member. So like senior most male member, it was observed in a case Shri Amma versus Krishnavamma that the senior male can be the karta without the agreement or the consent of the co-partners, and he hold the kartaship. And junior male member, it was observed in many cases like Narendra Kumar versus Commissioner of Income Tax, and in Harihar Sethi versus Laddu Kishore. So it was held that that junior male can be karta by understanding or agreement among the co-partners, and junior karta, this will not have the capacity to file a suit, and junior co-partner can be the karta when the senior most co-partners waives his right of karta, then a junior member can become the karta. Last is the female member. So it was observed in a case Pandurang versus Pandurang that the females can be karta in the absence of the male adult member. Okay. Now Next concept is the Karta's power in the joint family property. So Karta has so many power, like I already told you in my previous slide, like power to manage, power to contract debt, power to represent, power to enter into contracts on behalf of the Hindu joint family, power to refer dispute to arbitration of the Hindu joint family, and power of acknowledgement and power of alienation. Now we will move on to the next school of the Hindu law, like under this co-pasnari under the Deyabhaga school of joint family. So as such, there is no concept of joint family under the Deyabhaga school as compared to the Mitakshara. There is no co-pasnari consisting of father, son, son's son, son's son's sons. So the existence of the Deyabhaga co-pasnari comes only after the death of the father, by that the son will inherit the property of him and constitute a co-pasnari. So this concept of Deyabhaga is followed only in certain parts of India like West Bengal, Assam. In this school, there is no right by birth given to son. Son can inherit the property on his father's death. Likewise, when son dies, his heirs, male or females, they can succeed his property. So, like if suppose the son dies leaving behind widows or daughters, then they can succeed the property and becomes the co-partner. So the main difference between both the school is that here the females can become co-partner, and here the each co-partners takes a definite shares, means and unity of possession. Okay, so uh, under this, suppose I already gave you the example under the Mitakshara school, like if a family consists of P and their three sons, so on their death, like uh, on the death of the person, they will consist of co-partners. So here under the Adya Bhaga school, co-partner can't consist of only females. There should be a male first, and after it followed by the female members. So now classification of property under the Deyabhaga. So under Deyabhaga school, it also classifies the property into Pratibandhitaya, means unobstructed heritage, and Sapratibandhitaya, means obstructed heritage. So under this, obstructed heritage is not recognized under this school. So all the property under this Deyabhaga school is governed by the obstructed heritage, and all other classification of property under Mitakshara is similar to the Deyabhaga. Now the concept of Karta under the Deyabhaga, it is also similar to the other school, and under this the eldest male person will be Karta. The power, its liabilities and the power of alienation is similar to that of the Mitakshara school. So these are the two schools under the like Hindu law, which talks about the co-pastor and the Hindu joint family and the concept. Now I'm just concluding my topic here. So today we have understood the concept of the Hindu joint family property under the Mitakshara and the Deyabhaga school. The co-pasnary idea under Hindu law was mainly by the male member of the family, where just children, grandsons and great grandsons' son who have a right by birth, who has an interest in the co-pasnary property. No female of a Mitakshara co-partner could be a co-partner, but she will always be a part of the joint family. So under the Mitakshara, a son, son's son, son's son's son can a co-partner, like father and his three male lineal descendant, they can be the co-partner. Okay, so there is no concept of joint family under the Deyabhaga school, and under the Deyabhaga school, there is no such concept, and the persons can inherit the property after the death of the father. And there is no co-partnering consist of father, sons, 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 sons. So the existing Deyabhaga co-partnering comes only after the death of the father, and by that the son will inherit the property of him and constitute a co-partnering. So, I already told you, the concept of this Deyabhaga is followed only in the certain parts of India like West Bengal, Assam, and there is no right by birth given to the son, and son can inherit the property on his father's death. So, the main difference between both the school is that There the females can become the co-partner, and under this here each co-partner takes the definite share and unity of possession. So like, thank you for today. Now that's all for today. Okay, bye bye all of you.